Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right, just before we get started, I want to remind you that we're brought to you in partnership with pwponderings.com, rohworld.com, and lastwordonprowrestling.com. And we're also featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. All right, so this episode will be running down the goings-on from WWE with their recent pay-per-view Payback. I got it right. Very excited. And we also have an interview with WrestlePro and Creator Pros superstar Delroy Alexander, and also the almost the birthday champion for 2 years. We'll have that interview, and that'll make more sense at the end of the episode. So let's get started in chronological order, I suppose. What did you think overall of Payback?
I really enjoyed it. You know, there were a couple of results that really surprised me, and I really enjoyed that. You know, I was a little angry at Chris Jericho beating Kevin Owens, but I knew that Monday or Tuesday, Kevin Owens was going to get that belt back. So, you know, now that Monday and Tuesday have happened and we saw the little bit of follow-up from Payback, you know, I think it makes the show even better.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the best way for me to put it, and maybe this is offensive, but I don't know. I felt like it was a really great episode of Raw. So good that the next night I assumed SmackDown was on. Okay? And, you know, I don't think every show can be this amazing pay-per-view. You know.
See, I really disagree with that, though. Like, there are pay-per-views that really feel like a Raw. But this one had title changes. This one had good matches. You know, I enjoyed this
All
show.
Right. I mean, I see your point there. You know, I was really surprised by some of the results. I wasn't... Okay, I'm not, like, flat-out furiously angry with Owens losing the belt. But what I don't like... I think my biggest problem was the idea... Just the flip-flopping of the belt. I just don't like stuff like that. So, I felt...
But, like...
The only reason they did it was to swerve.
It's real life.
But the only reason they did it was to swerve. Right?
Get people hyped for Jericho on the pay-per-view. Give Kevin Owens even more of a reason to kill him on Tuesday. You know,
Okay.
I don't know. Like it added what they did on Tuesday was really good, and it was really well done. So what they did on Sunday kind of just made that feel even more impactful. You know, it made Kevin Owens seem even more pissed off and angry at Jericho. So I like that element. And now Jericho's on SmackDown when he comes back. So maybe that was just another excuse to get him on Tuesday night. You know.
What did you think? Well, first of all, I'll agree with that. I do like I did like what they did on SmackDown. I did enjoy the fact that, I mean, you saw it coming, right? That Jericho had to be written off. So
right.
I liked it
but
as much
you know,
as...
Would him getting written off have been better on the pay-per-view or on Tuesday? I think it was better on Tuesday because you were expecting it on Sunday, and then you got Jericho to win, and it was like, oh shit, what the hell?
Okay, fair. I
enjoyed that. I loved Alexa Bliss winning the women's belt. You know, being the first woman to win the SmackDown title and the Raw title. You know, that's amazing that they gave her. I mean, her work has been phenomenal, but it's amazing that, you know, she has that title instead of Charlotte Flair holding both belts, or Sasha Banks, or Bayley, or, you know, it was Alexa Bliss, someone a little bit off the radar who's storming through.
I liked it, but maybe I'm just sentimental, but there's a part of me that just wishes it could have happened at another day, just like it had to happen in Bayley's hometown.
But that makes people hate Alexa even more and makes Bayley more sympathetic.
Yeah. It's funny, though.
And what they did on Raw was awesome, with, you know, her on the pedestal and, oh, thank you, Bayley, for losing. I couldn't have done it without you. Like, all that stuff was perfect.
The only thing I didn't like about that was they called it the coronation, and, you know, her coronation, she even said, and then she was talking about how the queen's dead, there are no more queens, like she's the goddess, right? So then why keep saying coronation after that? Like, she said it after that. And I was just like, okay, but just for me
Yeah.
to following, just a little picky because I'm,
I get what you mean.
words are important to me. So that annoyed me a little bit. But I thought it's funny for Stat Wife. She's like in the Miz category where it's a heel that she can't help but like because she recognizes how good that heel is. It doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't happen a lot because,
No, I know.
For example, she really legitimately says often that Brock Lesnar should not be allowed to wrestle. Okay, this is a shoot. I said to her, I'm going to write an article.
I'm sorry, I don't know that terminology.
So this is 100% real. I said to her, I'm going to write an article about how I dislike the fact that Lesnar hasn't defended the belt for 30 days and he doesn't get stripped of it, but Naomi had to randomly drop it because she got hurt, quote unquote, because she couldn't defend it within the 30 days. Like, those storylines...
She couldn't defend it. Brock could defend it. He just... WWE chooses not to.
So if my kids...
People are scared of him.
So if my students can do their homework, but they just choose not to, they should not get penalized for it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well...
In real life, it works the other way. Like, if you can't do something, you don't get punished. But in the wrestling world, you physically cannot defend that belt. If and when we need to call you, you can't do it.
So don't say anything. Like, I'm not hurt. It's like, I don't know. It just, like, for me, that bothers me a little bit, but whatever. Stat Wife went crazy. That's exactly what I'm talking about, okay? That he should be, the title should be taken off of him, and he's too dangerous. I mean, after the whole Randy Orton thing, just like, he's too dangerous in the ring. Like, he shouldn't be allowed out there. And I'm just, that makes me laugh. And then to have her really like Alexa or Miz makes me laugh, right? So I guess, like, if you're a swarmy, like, annoying heel, it's fine. But if you're just a legitimate monster, and she's starting to dislike Strowman also. Like, she's like, come on, this match has to end.
That's not allowed.
Like, this is... Well, she dislikes him because she thinks what he's doing, like, just the same way Lesnar does, is too much.
Right.
It's, like, it's too real to her, damn it. It's the greatest. All right, let me get back to the event.
We can since we're on that topic and we're jumping out of order anyway, we might as well discuss the beating that Braun Strowman put on Roman Reigns. I believe I went with my gut and went with my heart here and picked Big Braun, and he got the win. He should be the guy to fight and beat Brock Lesnar, and you have a new monster. It's perfectly done. So then it sets up Roman Reigns or whoever the hell challenges him. I think that's the right move for them.
I was pleasantly surprised. I picked Roman because I just felt like that's how it was going to happen. By the way, on Raw they said that Braun had a dislocated shoulder, or no, a torn labrum, right, from going through the door, I guess, and going into the boxes.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought to myself, like, if he was a baseball player or a football player, his season would be over. He would just be out until 2018. And I love that Braun's going to be back probably next week on Raw. But I thought the match was really well done. I couldn't believe how far they went to... I mean, they put him over, and, credit to Roman also for selling it as well as he did, right? But they really put Strowman over huge.
Yeah, for months now, or for at least weeks.
Yeah, but over Roman, that seems like it's sending us. Even
better.
A crazy message, right? Like we're really behind this guy. I mean, I can see him taking the strap off Lesnar.
Yeah, that's pretty sure I just said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you never know. They might want a smaller guy to get the rub from being Lesnar, but I think this is the more effective.
Yeah, Braun is the guy that they should put that belt on and put him over Brock. That doesn't hurt Brock at all. He's losing to a monster, and that makes Braun Strowman, period. That's it. He's then your guy for the next 5-10 years, whatever the hell you need him to be.
I love when his theme song hits, and the only thing that's better is on the Masked Man podcast, when they play it, they'll do I believe it's the Masked Man podcast. They'll put Braun, and then it starts the whole Hogan, then the whole Hogan music hits. Amazing, dude. To listen to that spliced together is out of this world. It just I pop for it every time. So do you want to go match by match?
I think we discussed most of the important things, and the only other thing that really stood out to me right now that I can remember is Sheamus and Cesaro absolutely obliterating, hopefully breaking the Hardys.
Yeah, and Matt's been really active. Matt Hardy,
yes, I've noticed.
Right, on social media about how he's broke. They went to like the Colosseum or something in Rome, and it said like a little broken, just like we are. So they're definitely teasing that it's starting to happen. I thought the way he sold, like his eyes rolling to the back of his head, it made me feel like they were actually going to be broken after that.
Right.
This tooth
and
thing.
I mean, it was the tooth falling out.
Oh, amazing! That's amazing.
Perfect if that's where they're going with this.
Sorry to Jeff, but holy shnikes, that is some amazing storytelling. Obviously not done on purpose, but wow.
Right, and if that's where they're going with this attack is going to start breaking or break the Hardys, then it was perfect because it looked vicious. Cesaro and Sheamus are legitimate dudes. Like I would be scared of both of them if I saw them in real life. So like they're big guys, so they should be killing, the Hardys, and I love seeing them as heels. I can't wait to see what happens down the line with them.
No, I'm excited about that. There's one match that we're forgetting to talk about before we head out of here on Payback, the House of Horrors match, man.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Okay, so can I ask you a couple questions?
Please
so
do.
Here, first of all, I understand that things are scarier at night, correct? And if let's say if Resident Evil 7 was all done in the light and the house was well lit, it would not be as scary. I totally get that. However, it was 6:30 in San Jose. So the fact that that it was so dark out, did that bother you? Because it was something that for me was really...
Didn't even think about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, not even once, because it was dark here. So... for me, I was in the dark watching that match. It was nighttime. It was 9:30, whatever it should have been. So I didn't even consider that until you started talking about it.
So what?
I don't like it has to finish in the ring. That was just so stupid, and it should have been the other way around, where Randy Orton was leaving the house and Bray Wyatt came from behind, or had to do the supernatural stuff. That was a little bit weird, but. I liked Randy Orton walking around this creepy, weird house. And yes, they hit every stereotype. And I saw you mention that it was like the Resident Evil game,
Yeah.
But that's kind of what also led me to enjoy it. Because it was like, oh, shit. I walked through a house like this 2 months ago in Resident Evil. So I feel like these things could exist. And, I like what they're doing with Bray Wyatt. Yeah, he lost the belt, but... I liked that stuff at WrestleMania. I liked where they were going up until that point. I liked that he attacked Balor on Raw, so I'm interested to see what they do with him there. I'm a fan of the direction that he's going in. Whether he loses and he puts Balor over anyway, but that's fine. That's, kind of what he's been doing. But I don't let that take away from enjoying, the stuff that he does along the way.
Am I crazy? But wasn't this for the title originally?
I think at first, I don't know.
I think we talked about it being for the title.
I asked you last week if it was for the belt, and you said yes.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at the website.
I wasn't sure. I didn't think it was. So, I don't know. Maybe they just dropped it along the way, but definitely for the past couple weeks, there was no real mention of this is for the belt, or... if Bray wins, he's coming to SmackDown. There was none of that. So, I'm glad to see it wasn't for the title. I'm good because that meant that Bray could get the win, and we could all move on with Randy and Jinder and Bray and Finn. It helped Bray, to get that win.
Did you think what did you think about the Jinder run-in?
I loved it. Why wouldn't this guy who's having a problem with Randy Orton stole his title, why wouldn't he come out and attack him?
See, I liked it a lot. The only thing that bothered me was I really thought it was for the title. So I was shocked that Jinder would want, when he already has a match, that I just didn't think that he would want Bray to win. So I sat there in shock, and then they didn't say that it was for the title, so I was very confused.
Okay.
But
yeah, I can see how that would take away from it a little bit, thinking something was going to happen and then it didn't.
Completely threw me off. So I was thinking, like, why would Jinder want to wrestle Bray instead of Randy? Randy's, crazy, and he hears voices in his head, but, I mean, Bray Wyatt carries a lantern, and he's creepy, so. All right, so that was the show on Sunday. So
yeah, that was this week in WWE.
Well, I mean, yeah. We didn't talk about Sin Cara's ridiculous outfit.
Terrible.
Just
you could see he's got a couple extra pounds in there, and it was a little bit sloppy. I don't understand that. Yeah, I get it. You want Dolph to get the win, but put someone out there that's going to make him look good.
I had walked out of the room, I think, before he came out. I had missed a little bit of this match, and I come back, and I'm looking, I'm like, who is that? Like, I actually got more interested in watching it just to find out who it was, because I couldn't, I was like, this guy looks weird.
Jeez.
It's like a terrible blue blazer, like, Mexican ripoff or something. I don't know.
And I mean, a little bit of outside WWE, but I finally got the Nice Boys Don't Play Rock and Roll PWG DVD this week and had the chance to watch that. It's the show from March. My God. I don't know why I'm ever surprised, but every PWG show is just incredible. There was a Keith Lee, Sami Callihan, Brian Cage match. That was just absurd. It was Keith Lee's first time in PWG, and he did not disappoint. He hit a standing Hurricane Rana. He hit a drop kick. He hit a tope con hilo over the top. It was incredible, the things that he could do.
I really, every time you talk about it, I really feel like I need to get into PWG, and I think this summer might be like just a complete binge of it altogether.
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch it all together because some of it's
You have to. And the main event was Pentagon, Phoenix versus the Bucks versus Ricochet and Sydal. And during the match, the Young Bucks and Pentagon and Phoenix are in the ring. And the Young Bucks do Cerro Miedo. So Pentagon and Phoenix do Suck It. And they go back and forth, right? And then the Young Bucks go, hold on. They go under the ring. They put on a Pentagon and a Phoenix mask. And then they come out doing the Cerro Miedo. And Pentagon goes, all right, hold on. They go grab the Young Bucks jackets. And now they're doing the Suck It with the Young Bucks jackets on. Then Sydal and Ricochet come out with masks and jackets doing Cerro Miedo and Suck It. It was just, stuff that you only really see in PWG, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it really kind of makes me jealous, about
$20 a month, man. That's it. Just buy the DVD and you're good.
I know, but I want to go there. That's the only thing that bothers me. What do you think? Did you hear this news about the NWA, Billy Corgan buying the rights to the NWA?
Yeah, I think that's pretty freaking cool. It'll be interesting to see, what he does and how that works out. But, he bought TNA to, have his own company and do his own thing. And when he was in charge there for a little bit, it was great. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how he restarts, the NWA. And he bought the belt, right? So it'll be interesting.
Oh, I completely agree. I'm actually kind of excited about it and see what happens. So now they don't own
just more wrestling to watch. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to become kind of national. Off the bat, it'll be really interesting to see if they sign more people, if they come together with something. Like they kind of, what if they're like kind of recreating that territory? That's going to be crazy.
Right, and that's what's going to be interesting because under the last owner. The members of the NWA got dismantled. So there is no members. It's just Billy Corgan and whatever he wants to do with the NWA right now. So, I'm all for it. We're wrestling fans. We've been wrestling fans forever. We watch almost everything there is. It just adds to it.
Oh, 100%. All right. Any other news before we head into our interview?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So, by the way, just kind of a disclaimer I wanted to add in before we get to the interview. Just quickly, we do pay attention to random news that happens outside of the ring, but sometimes it just doesn't really feel super appropriate to discuss, or something that I think neither one of us actually wants to talk about, because we just want to talk about the wrestling and the product itself. So that's the reason you don't hear about things like X-Pac or Charlotte this week and other things that are going on, because that's just not something we want to bring up.
Something happened with Charlotte this week?
Oh yeah, I'll talk to you about it off air, because then we would just be breaking what we just said.
Right, but yeah, so we like to focus on the positive, of everything that's going on.
Even if we're negative about the wrestling, we just still focus on the positive. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, sit back and we have an interview with Delroy Alexander of WrestlePro and Creator Pro Frame. Just really got a chance to talk to him just before we got on the air. Really great chat, so make sure to check it out, and we'll catch you right after. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky enough to be able to speak with Delroy Alexander. Delroy, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the time. Appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, no problem.
So you're wrestling for Creator Pro. The next show coming up is going to be on June 3rd. How did you get involved with Creator Pro to begin with?
Well, Creator Pro is it's the school that we train out of. So Creator Pro has two schools. They have one in Hicksville in New York, and then the other one is in Rahway, New Jersey. So basically, I train at both places. I try to get where I can, because I live in Brooklyn. So it's about the same drive either way, this to New Jersey, or minus a $15 toll if you go to Jersey. So if you train there, basically, they try to get on shows and things like that. Obviously, if you're on the Creator Pro New Jersey side, that one's geared more towards WrestlePro. But we do have kids, or not kids, rather, we do have students who do get onto both shows.
Who are the trainers for each location?
Well, we the two trainers at Creator Pro are Pat Buck and Brian Myers, who is known in WWE as Kurt Hawkins. For the most part, you have Hawkins and Pat both train at the school in Hicksville. I believe Brian trains on Thursdays, and then Pat does Tuesday nights. And Pat is also the head trainer in Rahway for Creator Pro, the New Jersey school.
Okay, and a lot has been made of Pat Buck's training recently. Anything you could tell us about that? What has it been like to learn from Buck and Myers?
Grade A, phenomenal. I mean, I don't know if there are too many other words that could describe that. To train with two guys who, one, have been in the WWE developmental system and who are currently in WWE. You don't get much better than that. Plus, there are two trainers who actually do show up to train their students.
Which doesn't always happen.
You can't beat that, especially Brian, who's exactly. But especially with Brian, who's actually, now that he's back in WWE, he's on the road. He still manages to get back and train on Thursdays with everyone, and then Pat going between both schools. So you get grade A training, and then you also have your assistant trainers, and like Mario Boccara, Dan Moff, Kevin Matthews, guys like that. So it's an experience, and one that I don't take for granted.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
What made you get into wrestling in the first place?
I mean, I've loved wrestling since I was about 4 years old. Man, my first match, I think, first match I've ever seen was Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, King of the Ring '93. So,
Nice.
um,
Not a bad way to start it out,
Yeah.
right?
no, definitely not, and which is why I'm a huge Bret Hart fan, and Mark, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But no, I was 24 at the time. Um, had played baseball my entire life, and was still playing on teams, going to tryouts, and it's like, you know what, I'm not feeling it right now. And I was like, I've always wanted to do wrestling. I just never knew how to get into it. And I started working with a guy who would go to all these indie shows. So I just started, going with him to the show. He's like, yeah, come with me. Come check out the shows. I was like, okay, cool. Because he knew I was big into wrestling. And then, just, asking around, like, how do I get on the shows? He would tell me, just talk to the owners. And eventually I found Pat Buck, who was part of PWS at the time, and emailed him. He told me to come down, check out the school, and that was it. The rest is history. I signed up right then and there, and started my journey.
What would you say?
You mentioned, sorry, Rich. You mentioned that Miles is there on Thursdays and Buck is on Tuesdays. So how often are you training at the schools?
Training it's 2 days. Excuse me. It's 2 days a week at Creative New Jersey and Runz. I believe it's 4 days a week.
Okay.
4 days a week in Hicksville, because we do have beginners class on Wednesdays. Open on Wednesdays. Pat is there Tuesdays to Thursdays. So 4 days in Hicksville.
Okay, and is there, you mentioned the beginners class and everything. Can you give us a little, it doesn't have to be too long, but a little quick rundown of, kind of what you guys are doing there daily basis, or?
Well, we do everything. I mean, usually class starts out with, your basic warm-ups, rolls, stretches. We do some cardio, whether it's, your just anything that helps to get your ring wind up. So blow up drills, things like that. And then we go into basic drills. Sometimes we'll do drills that that's specify on one thing. Sometimes we'll do matches. Sometimes we'll we'll run tag drills. It depends. There's a drill called man in the middle, where you have a guy all four corners, and there's one guy in the middle, and you basically run through a match sequence with each guy. So it's kind of you'll start with one guy and you'll do like a beginning sequence, and then you'll start with it. You'll go to the next guy, and maybe that's like your cutoff spot or your heat spot, and then the third guy will be maybe a comeback, and then the fourth guy will be a finish. It depends. You can make it go a couple different ways, but everything we do is basically geared to sharpen your skills. You want to perform practice the way you would do in front of people on a show. The old adage, practice like you would play the game goes. Right. That's what they tell us. Especially Dan Moff tells us that every week. And when he tells you, you listen. So
I was just gonna say, I bet when he speaks, people listen. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's just a basic day in training, and then some days, like I said, we'll do matches. We'll put just to get people in the realm of putting on a match, whether it's on the fly, because sometimes you don't have time to call stuff beforehand. So right. They'll tell you, oh, give me 6 minutes on the fly, go, and you don't even know who your opponent is. They'll put just two people in the ring, and you guys got to figure it out. And it's a great way to stay sharp. I love those days when we do matches.
Right, definitely working on an all-around game instead of just focusing on one area. Yeah. Oh.
Exactly.
Do you have a particular audience, venue that you particularly enjoyed working at?
I to be honest with you, I love everywhere we work. But I would have to say, being from Brooklyn, I love wrestling in Brooklyn. But there is no place like the RAW Rec Center. No place like Rahway is always bumping. Those fans are great. Yeah, you can't say enough about that. Keyport, New Jersey is also a really good venue to work in front of. Just the building itself is great. You know, you got like upper deck seating, balcony seating, so it's really cool. It gives you that arena feel.
Did you work the event last year during the summer when it was like 100 degrees
Which one?
outside? I thought it was an outdoor event that was up 100 degrees in Jersey. And Pat Buck was talking about that it was going to be 95 degrees that day. I believe it was like in a backyard area. I know it was outdoors, so I'm not sure.
I know we worked a couple events outdoors last year. Like we did the main one. I think was we did Taco Fest out in I think it's like Sussex County.
Mm-hmm.
There was one in Edison for the Edison Fall Festival. I know there's a couple other outdoor events. I'm not sure which one you guys are referring to in particular. But
are those difficult? Like, how is that compared to, let's say, being in the rec center or being indoors at all?
No, I mean outdoors are cool. It's just it depends on the weather. Obviously, we've worked events where it's been raining. We've worked events where it's been really hot. So it just depends on the weather. I mean, obviously, it's not like WWE where you have the canopy that kind of protects the ring. You're just out there in the weather. So no, I don't think it there's a big difference. I mean, a lot of those outdoor shows, the crowds are really hot for those. Like the crowds are rocking for those. So it's great to be out there. I think you go out there and you perform just the way you would if you were indoors. I don't really think there's too much of a difference now.
Okay, so like you were talking about the rain or in the extreme heat, you don't have to like change up what you're doing because you guys are sliding off each other or anything like that.
Well, yeah, kind of, because if it's raining, you try not to do too many rope spots. You don't really want to run too much. You know what I mean? If it's hot, if it's like beaming hot, maybe you try to go like a little shorter. But I mean, for the most part, no. You kind of just go out there. You know the elements, and you try not to, hurt yourself as far as I'm not going to run too much off, around the ring or anything like that. If it's raining, I'll slip and fall and break my neck or whatever. Maybe, but no, you kind of just adapt to the elements.
Just more ways to gain experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been in matches with Leo Rush and Colt Cabana. You mentioned Bokara and Kevin Matthews, Dan Moff. What do you take away? When you wrestle those guys who have been doing this almost forever.
With everyone, like you either learn from or you're in the ring with, you take you try to take just a little piece of something that you feel like they do well, or that you like as far as what they bring to the table. It's like, I don't know, I like to take from a lot of different people, and not like moves or anything like that, but just but just like advice, or say the way this person calls a match, or the way this person interacts with the crowd, or the way this person thinks when it comes to certain psychology in the ring. So you try to take a little bit from everyone, especially the good ones. Even you can learn from anybody. Like people,
right? You can learn what
haven't been doing this for so long. I wasn't gonna say it, but yes, that's a good point. But I like to. I don't know everything. I know I'm still learning. I've been doing this for almost 4 years, and I'm still learning. So, you can learn from anyone. You just keep your eyes and ears open, and even the person you least expect it could say something. Be like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. And you try it, and boom, it worked great. So, I don't take any advice for granted. You take everything with a grain of salt. Not everybody's word is gospel. But you try to take just little nitbits from here and there where you can.
Is there any, one piece of advice or anything? It's a tough question to answer, but is there any one thing that somebody said to you or a tip that they've given you that really, you kind of tell yourself every day, or every day you get in the ring, anything like that?
One thing I always go back to is, I know, Pat tells us, to put the little things over. Not enough people put the little things over in matches. And what I mean by that is, something as small as punching somebody in the face and then almost selling your hand to the point where, you kind of just hurt your hand a little bit, but obviously they're hurt a little bit more. Or registering something that was done to you, maybe 2 minutes ago that was devastating, but you kind of, you didn't forget about it. And then that makes the crowd think, oh, crap, yeah, that's right. They did that to him, and it's still hurting him, but yet he's somehow managing to persevere through it. Another one Mario Bacaro always tells me, is, less is more. Put over the things that, you do less and make it mean more. And you've heard that from countless other people, but, he constantly reminds me of that. And so you try to make things, you don't do so much, but you make it bigger.
And you make the smaller, do less, but
and that's one of the things I try to do when I'm in the ring. Like I don't fly around or anything like that, but
you do less in the ring, but it means more.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys got a chance to do some cool stuff. Have you been involved in any of the birthday parties?
Oh yeah, birthday parties are awesome. I was actually, this was at the Jersey school, but I was birthday champion for like 2 years.
That's fantastic.
Not that means a damn thing, but but no, it's pretty cool. The birthday parties are always fun, especially when they're for little kids, because you just get to, you get to do something a little different that you wouldn't normally do, just to kind of make them, make their experience enjoyable, try to pop them. And it's just a great experience. I love wrestling birthday parties with little kids and things like that.
It's fantastic. So I can hold out hope now that I heard that you said that, especially when it's kids. So there are times when it's just adults.
Those are more. We have had parties for adults. More so, those are like the bachelor party kind of parties where we'd have had guys who want a wrestling show, personalized wrestling show for their bachelor party. But for the most part, it's mostly birthday parties for, probably, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, which if you are listening to this and you do have a kid, call CreatorPro and book your birthday party today. Okay. And I'll be there personally. It's a great experience. Great.
That's a former birthday champion right there, chaperoning all these birthday parties. So make sure your kids are listening out there.
There you go. Exactly. I think if you listen to the podcast with Pat and Ryback's trying to get in on this birthday party stuff too.
Oh yeah,
money off it.
he badly wants Pat Cena. Badly wants.
Yeah, exactly.
So your next match coming up will be on June 3rd against Bear Bronson at Creative Pro's next event. So what are your thoughts going into the event?
Unsettled differences. June 3rd, Creative Pro. That is from the Sports Arena in St. James. Bear Bronson. Well, the last time we had a Creative Pro show, I was in the ring with his partner, or former partner, I don't even know what they are right now, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is his name now. Mm-hmm. And I kicked his ass. So I will look to do the same to Bear Bronson since he wants to taste of the Black Stallion.
Fantastic. And so this is actually a new venue, right, for you guys?
Yeah. This is a new venue for us. We used to do our shows at the school, but we're trying to get bigger and better, which is always the goal. You want to progress, you want to get bigger, you want to get better. So we're moving into the Sports Arena.
It sounds like it's going to be
okay.
Great. Because I've heard that the school is a little small, so I think it's great that you guys are expanding and just having the bigger shows with a bigger crowd. It must be rewarding to be able to be in front of a bigger crowd also. Oh yeah, I
mean any crowd is good. It depends on how much they love wrestling, but definitely when you're in front of a bigger crowd, you want to bring it a little bit more. You know what I mean? You want to try to go out there and make sure that they know that all these people spent their money for this and that we're going to put on a good show. But I mean, any crowd is worth going out there and putting your best foot forward. But we're really excited for June 3rd, especially since we haven't run for a few months because we were looking for a bigger place to go because we wanted to get bigger, we wanted to get better.
So if fans want to find you on social media and follow you there, where can they find you?
I am on all 3 major social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Twitter is at Delroy A. Cox. Instagram is at Delroy Alexander, and you can find me on Facebook at Delroy Cox.
All right.
And hopefully we'll be in attendance on June 3rd to see how everything goes down, and we look forward to seeing more of you in the future.
No, definitely. I hope you guys do. I hope you guys are there. Yeah, man. It's going to be a great show. We got we got Kevin Matthews versus, I believe, Mario Bokara, both just recently signed to Impact, so that's going to be a great show. That's going to be a great match. It's announced Mike Byrne is going to be there. Triple threat match for the Creative Pro Championship. Smart Mark versus Max Caster versus Johnny Clash, and there's a whole lot of, there's a love triangle going on there. So that's going to be, it's going to be pretty interesting as well. So I think Beefcake versus Donovan, versus Donovan Body Slam Challenge. I haven't seen one of those in God knows how long. So that's gonna be pretty good. So I mean, we're looking, like I said, we're looking to get bigger, we're looking to get better, and we're looking to sell it out. St. James at the Sports Arena. So hopefully, you guys and everybody else definitely come out and support our Creative Pro Wrestling Academy.
Absolutely.
100%. Thank you for joining us so much tonight, and we look forward to seeing your work.
No problem, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a great one, and thank you.
No problem.
You too.
All right, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thanks to Delroy Alexander for joining us. That was a fun chat, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to get to speak to some of these guys, while they're training or while they're coming up, and to see what happens with them down the future. Delroy is a great performer, and it's going to be interesting to see, what the future holds. So thank you to Creative Pro for, lending him to us and letting us speak about the show and promote the show. And, we definitely look forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah, the show will be on June 3rd, as you heard many times during the interview. Make sure you go over to Creative Pro's website and check it out. The venue is going to be pretty cool. So that's going to be a fun time, and we're looking forward to it ourselves. And over the next coming weeks, you guys can expect a couple more interviews from guys who will be appearing at that show as well. So make sure you guys tune in next week. All right, so with all that out of the way, just want to remind you guys, you can find us on Twitter at Running Wild LWOS. You can find us on Facebook at Running Wild on Wrestling. You can email us directly for any sort of trivia or comments to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure that if you're listening and you have iTunes, you go over, you make sure that you rate and review us. That really helps us out. Or if you're following us on SoundCloud or Stitcher or Google Play Store as well. All the feedback is really appreciated. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'd love to get some more trivia questions. You can find my work over at pwponderings.com, rohworld.com, and lastwordonprowrestling.com, where I cover mostly Ring of Honor and also Evolve. And you can catch some of my other work over at pacemagazine.com. Follow me on Twitter at rich_LACONI Laconi. And bad news for you guys who may be following me, or if you aren't following, this is a good opportunity to do so, because I now have discovered how to make ridiculous GIFs. And I don't even like to GIF about the moves. I just like to GIF weird fan reactions in the audience. So I'm having a good time doing that, and I'm putting it over on the show's podcast, the show's Twitter. So make sure you check it out. All right. And with all that, sir, just want to remind everybody out there that you guys have been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.